In this video, I'm going to be sharing three worst things that has happened to our generation, which will make us less happier but more competitive, and less optimistic but more opportunities. Kind of a paradox, but it's true. And if you understand these things, and if you really play along with the rules, play and actually figure out the game, you will be much more better at what you do, and you will be much more happier, and you will be much more satisfied. That's the real game. It's like Naval Ravikant said, the best measure of success is figuring out what you want and achieving it, and being satisfied, happy, and competitive in it. That all give you the happiness and satisfaction. That all is meant by when you mean by achieving it. Just winning a game by any chance doesn't mean it's an success. Winning a game by fair means is what is meant by achieving something. So the three things that have happened to our generation, which has the worst effect, but also upside to it, but also has upsides. First one, proximity problem. For our early generation, like our parents, there were no internet, really not very much. There were TV channels, they were television, they were other form of radio and other form of mass communications, but they all were omni-channel communication, which means para-social communication. A person will be talking to masses, and there is no interaction between these two. And this had an advantage. We cannot interact with strangers. We only interact with people around us, and this also had a really big advantage. We had a limit to our comparison. We had a limit to our success. For the current era, in my era and Genz's era, there is no limit for comparison. I can get the information about people who is $10 billion investment or startup. I have also know a guy from the around my corner who is doing a master's degree from a normal college. I also know a guy who has IIT degree and doing a startup with his non-profit organization. So there is no real means to limit and compare and feel satisfied that I belong, I am competitive, because there will be always a person ahead of you, and you are always aware of that by the presence of social media, because social media is not an omni-channel communication, it's a multi-channel communication. You can talk, they can talk, they can post, you can post, and you only see the highlights, but that highlights is enough for you to feel behind. Now, the antidote to this feeling is that you must realize that you are getting free exposure to magnitude of things which is out of your reach if there is no social media. Social media gives this advantage of exposure to multiple things which you might not be aware of until you step out of your hometown, or even of this country. So this is an exposure, and exposure should be taken as an exposure instead of comparison. You should always compare apple to apple, and you should always realize that no one starts this race because there is no race, because there is no beginning and there is no ending. Like, if you start from a middle class background, or if you start from a really financially backward background, then you can compare with someone who has started from a middle class background, and a middle class person cannot compare his progress with someone who is born into rich or who has more advantages. Like, I am really weak at study, and I am comparing my marks with a class topper, and he's generally good at studies, not because of hard work but because of sheer intelligence and sheer capacity of his mind. And now I might take some of his advice, but I cannot really compare my mark with him because I am not as intelligent or as capable as him. I can try my best, but that doesn't guarantee me results. So you need to have this mindset that these are things which I going to see in social media, which are things I going to see throughout the internet. I don't need to compare myself. I need to take it as an exposure and take a learning, take something which is useful for my journey. That's it. So be open to it, but don't compare it and disregard your progress. Now the second thing that has happened, which is actually bad but also as an opportunity, is that we have no security. Our previous generation, our early generation, and most of our generations ahead all had security as a primary factor for their living, because socially, economically, politically, people will give you a, people will assure you that the future is going to be secured. Future, you have security by studying hard, you have security by getting a good job, like there is a kind of stability. But in current economy and current political current political environment, current global environment, current employment situation and other things, we have to realize that Gen Z's are majorly focused on gig works. It's not that our previous generation has not done this kind of works. They had this kind of works out of the need for the money. We do this kind of works because it's much more reliable than getting a job, because you can get fired from a job anytime, but you can have your own time freedom and unlimited possibility of earning money using gig works, like freelancing, like DoorDash delivery, other deliveries. These are all kind of job that has been seriously done by 24, 25, 26 year old guys who, compared to our parents' generation, should be in a corporate position or should be doing an MBA or should be getting a higher education. People are really doesn't care about the education no more, because people know that world is changing so fast that an education institute cannot, a traditional education institute cannot keep up with the pace of its change and give an accurate knowledge to the students. So finally people have come to the sense that okay, the changing change of the environment is out of hand, that no one actually has a guarantee that what they are teaching will be really relevant in coming time. So we have less security and we have less trust on traditional paths, which also liberates us from the trap of focusing on only traditional path, because now we have unlimited opportunities. This is the reason I said in the beginning of video, these are all paradoxes. These have their own bad side and these are their own opportunities at the same time. Just because there is unlimited opportunities and there is no security to any of the field, you can choose what you want to do and you can do your best and get good earnings. There is no limited capital. Like the scalability of every job has been improved by technology, that therefore the security of the job has been decreased by the technology, because security means least amount of change over a period of time. Then you will have that job to yourself. If the job is continuously changing and you are not changing according to the job, then someone better will get that job and you will be out of that job quickly. That's what happened when you have technological improvement in any field. People will get outdated and they will be thrown out and new people will come, and when technology shift and they don't shift, this is a kind of filter process. So the security has gone, and the only secure jobs in our country is really government jobs, and that is now given into contract basis rather than permanent positions more of the time. You can check out the data, it's really true. Now, as I said, this gives us an opportunity for doing whatever we want, because nothing is secure anymore. So try out anything, find what you will do which makes you happy and which pays your bill, and do your best. I don't mean to say that you will become anybody you think of or you can do anything you want, but I would say you have the freedom to try, because there is no one who is going to say that this path is guaranteed to success. Because even our parents, our grandparents, nobody's wisdom is going to be help us in this kind of generation with this much change happening in this short of a time, this short period of time. So that's it. Yeah, the third and the worst of all is that AI has made knowledge a commodity rather than something you have or something you can acquire. It has begun by the starting era of internet. When internet came, knowledge became a commodity. You can access any kind of knowledge at anywhere at any time. Like there is no value for storing your storing knowledge in your memory for long time, because that is not really required, because you have internet. You can search upon anything and find good or best knowledge around the world, or the top researchers. So knowledge has been a getting cheaper and cheaper as the progress of time with internet. And when AI comes, the knowledge also really got zero value. On top of that, the thinking ability also is now outsourced to AI. So it's a really bad thing, and there is a little upside, but the bad side or the disadvantage is much more than the advantage. So most people now don't use their brain. Our brain's only purpose is to think, and it is out of our control. But we can influence it by putting in more questions and getting more curious and and deliberately knowing and focusing on things we like. The problem is that people don't do that anymore. They are fed what to think, they are fed what to feel by content, by other source of media. And when it's time to take a decision or analyze things or figure out things, they use AI. So the brain really has no more use in this economy, and the only guys who are getting paid to use their brains are the people who is building these AI techs. And those guys are not someone who just graduated from college. They are 40-50 year old technological expert who is who has good brain and good knowledge. So there is no more, really there is no use of thinking anymore. And so many people say that in the era of AI, don't be a pessimist and say that AI is really bad. Embrace AI, otherwise you will be replaced. My point is saying that if I am using the same technology as everybody else, what is the advantage I have? The only advantage I have is my thinking ability. And if that too is also outsourced to a corporation by the policy and by the procedures, then there is no more freedom for my thought. So really, in corporate, there is no actual progression of there is no actual guarantee that by using AI you will not be replaced. I suggest that by using AI you can easily be replaced, because when you start using AI, you will be outsourcing most of the tasks to AI. Now AI gets trained better at your job than you do, because AI doesn't make mistakes and you can make mistakes. So corporation will always choose a machine over a human when it comes to an efficiency and cost. And moreover, the biggest disadvantage of AI is that our only capability as humans from other animals is the ability to think and communicate and articulate things. And these three things will be gradually deteriorating from our brain due to overuse of AI and over dependency upon AI. AI is really great when it comes to really mundane tasks like analyzing data to figure out the trends, plotting graphs, or um, converting data into meaningful output. But you need to use your brain to interpret that output. People use AI to interpret things for them instead of thinking and understanding why that is happening or what is actually happening in front of them. What is the question? What is the answer? How can I solve it? That's when AI get dangerous. Now, for kind of a cool information, there is multiple factories in India where workers are made to wear cameras on their heads. So when they are doing the work, the camera is recording what they are doing, and camera is using that as a data to train in robotics to do that work. So workers are basically getting paid to replace themselves. These kind of activities are actually the first people AI attacked or AI kind of disrupted was the creative and was the intellectual people. The second thing is the labor. And funny thing is that this is my perspective. I might be wrong, I might be right, but this is my perspective. AI is a bubble and it will burst. It will burst really bad. Think of every other bubble that have been happened over the past decades, like the internet bubble, every other thing. And AI, when AI bubble burst, it is going to be so nasty that the companies will be disappearing. And the reason being, I want you to think an analogy. Who uses AI? Mostly an intellectual person who want to do things or think things. And robotics or automations have been here for decades, and that really didn't disrupt majority of the manufacturing. People are much more cheaper than robotics for majority of the manufacturing, and only high production manufacturing use really good robotics. And one more thing, the economy works only because we spend, and we spend because we earn because there is a job. Now if company thinks they can, for example, if company thinks they not for example, continuation of the story, if company thinks they can replace an employee with an AI system or a robotics which is much more efficient and lower of cost comparing to an employee. Now now the company is firing 10% of their workforce. Now 10% of their workforce is not getting their salary for few months at least. Now for few months their spending has been reduced, or the spending into the economy has been reduced. So when they are not buying other company or any other products, then the economy will go down. When the economy go down, the profit the company made by firing that employee and replacing it with AI will be much less, much less than what they are going to lose in market share, in their sales, in their indirect businesses and their B2B businesses. For example, I will explain to you in simple terms. Think of it like this. Yeah, see that picture? This A is the company which do business with B. B is a manufacturing company, and manufacturing company fires some people, like they fired them. But the problem is these people will buy the product of A which is sold by B. So basically when B fires his own employee, they are losing their income, so they are not going to buy A's product. By doing that, A's sales go down, hence they don't purchase more from B. So B's sales go down, hence they need to cut more budget to run the company. This is a vicious cycle, and no one actually wins. You need to have human as a basic commodity or the basic basis of the economy, otherwise the economy won't work. I am not an economist, I don't really study economy, but this is common sense. Think about it. So that's my idea for intellectual think people who buy intellectual AI like Cloud AI and other AI. Who buy? Designers, writers, coders, marketers. And if company decide to hire a marketing team because they found an AI which does marketing better than them, now the marketing team is not going to buy the AI subscriptions, right? And that going to have them lose a few customers. Now customers, if they lose the customers because they want more efficiency, the money they save from the efficiency is going to be far less than what they will be losing in the sales and in the revenue of the company. So it's a vicious cycle, and nobody actually wins. So it's just a valuation game until the shareholders make their money, and then the company will go, oh, we have to shift the business model, there is a reconsideration, and this bubble will burst. So that's it for the video. I hope you guys understand, and I hope you will use this information for better use of your time and better use of your energy. That's it. Bye.